KMW, it's Melissa.
And Stephanie Carcache.
Two sisters and the founders of Millennial Women and your host of the Mini Talks.
We are so excited to introduce you to such an inspirational millennial woman, Jasmin Steiner.
Jasmin is a mom of beautiful twins living in Austin, Texas, and for us, she's one of the most ultimate millennial moms. She has gone through so much in her life, such as depression and identity issues. What was supposed to be a very happy and exciting time in her life quickly turned into one of her most challenging.
Jasmin teaches us how to have patience, empathy, and a whole lot of self-love while going through some of the most challenging times we have to face in life. Please help me welcome Jasmin Steiner.
Hi, Jasmin. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to talk to you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on your guys' amazing podcast.
Of course. So, Jasmin, tell us a little bit about who you are and what is Married Mom and Mantras?
Well, I am a personal trainer first. Mostly actually twin mother first, and then a wife. And I kind of Married Mom and Mantras came. It's really weird how it kind of came about. My first Instagram name was kind of based off of the days of when I used to model and do fitness and training and everything. But I was like, this doesn't encompass who I am. And so I'm like, well, I'm married, I'm a mom, and I was like, and I have all these mantras. So I'm like, hey, maybe I should just add all these together. And maybe someone has this already because the name I was going to change it to, someone did have it. So I typed that one in and I didn't. And I was like, this is perfect because it literally represents part of the title of who I am. And so it kind of was just like an epiphany that happened through thought of wanting to kind of rebrand myself and change and attract a different type of audience. And so Married Mom and Mantras came about, and it's been the best thing that's happened to me because it really engulfs who I am at this moment and who I'm becoming. So I feel like it was God sent, honestly. It's not me.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's never us, really. It always starts from up above. So I agree with you.
That's amazing. Jazz, we've been following you on social. You've written incredible articles, in specific in your vulnerability when it comes to your struggle, all your struggles that you faced through your journey. Can you kind of take us back to some of those struggles on your journey through now Married Mom
and Mantras.
So I guess it's funny because I'm actually starting writing a book, and I'm kind of having to go back and think about these things. It's kind of always been an ongoing battle of mine. I can remember when I was younger, I hated my hair, I hated my skin color, I hated, that my butt was big and all my friends could wear tiny shorts and I couldn't. And so it was always an ongoing battle with me, and it was amplified whenever I started looking into modeling and the fitness industry, because I had to hyper focus on how I looked. And so it became an obsession, and a very unhealthy one. It led me down paths of drug abuse, very poor self-image, and just complete exhaustion. And that was when people saw me, they're like, you look amazing, I want to look like you. And it's funny because we view people as worthy through their looks, but we don't know that sometimes those people that be like, oh, you're so beautiful, but they're actually really ugly and pain on the inside. And so I got to the point when I got pregnant and I had my twins, and I remember that moment I had to use the bathroom after I had my C-section, and I had to lift up my stomach. And I was like, what is going on? Why is my stomach not flat? I thought, I was laying down, I was like, my stomach feels flat. Wow. And then I got up and I realized it wasn't, and I cried, and I just sobbed and cried. And it became a process of, I just hated myself. I hated myself for a long time, and I lost my identity through it. I didn't know who I was anymore because I put so much value into, well, maybe people will love me, people will appreciate me, and see me as worthy through my looks. And I felt unworthy now. I didn't know who I was supposed to be because I wanted to be a model. How am I supposed to do that now when my body's I felt was flawed? And I got to the point really because I feel like when she was God sent, even though it was the most terrible time of my life, she bullied me for 2 years straight. And she would tell me things like, you're going to be nothing but saggy skin and stretch marks. And like, I deserved to have the miscarriage I had before I had my twins. And just like really horrific things that I feel like I blocked out of my mind. But it just like terrible, terrible, cruel things to me. And I decided one day, you know what? This woman is not going to have power over me. She's not going to tell me what my truth is and that I'm going to amount to nothing because my stomach has changed. And I remember that day, I was like, I'm going to post my stomach. And I did, and it was kind of scary. And then I just kept doing it, and I kept doing it even through the fear and just hoping, like, you know what? I do have something more to say. I do have a mind. I remember I am smart. And let me share with these people because I felt so alone. And I feel like they don't prepare you enough. They don't tell you that you might not look perfect after, and you might be depressed, and you might hate your husband, and you might, look at your kids and don't feel love for them. Like, nobody tells you these things. And I felt like I had to tell somebody, and it wasn't received well at first. I lost a bunch of followers, and then I started like getting trickles of people who were like, oh, thank you for posting that. And it just became a thing. I was like, you know what? I have to stand for this because we define beauty by these standards that have changed throughout time, that haven't even maintained themselves. Yet I'm sitting here focused on what's currently viewed as beautiful and not feeling worthy of it. So, you know what? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks at the end of the day. Like, I think I'm beautiful, and I think everybody should think they're beautiful, and I have to let people know that. And so that became my journey, and I feel like this was like my purpose. And sometimes I'm like, God, is this what you really want from me? Like, you want me to keep doing this? And then I feel like I get a sign, or someone, it's amazing, someone will message me and tell me, Jasmin, like, you have to keep doing it. Like, thank you so much. Like, you changed my life. And I'm like, I changed your life. Like, it's amazing. I'm just being me. I'm just being truthful to myself. And I think everybody can change even their own lives by understanding and finding beauty in their truth and the imperfection that it is. So that's how it came along. Like that was the journey.
That's
Wow.
it's so beautifully said, the way that you put it. And really, I can't help but to get emotional thinking about your story, because I feel like as women, we're always struggling with our identity, right? It's almost like for example, like you were talking about when you saw your stomach, and it's like now you associated your stomach with your body, with who you are, a fitness person, a fitness model, a mom, a wife, all these things. What was the first step that you had to take to start this? I don't know if the right word is recovery, but like, what was the first step for you to get back on track with yourself?
I would have to start with honestly working out, and not with the expectation that I'm trying to change my body, but just trying to clear my mind because I was so depressed that nothing actually happened at that point. With kind of getting back into who I was and just the rhythm of getting those endorphins running and feeling like I have something besides motherhood going. And so I just started every day with walking. And honestly, my mom was amazing during this time. I was able to vent and talk through my feelings without judgment. And so I had a safe place. I feel like anyone that has anything should have it that is like that, because it definitely helps you get past that point. And then really it was a mix of looking up stuff. I was always big about Googling. So my mom called me Dr. Google for a long time. Still now. But I just Googled like how to work with anxiety and depression, because when I was taking the medicine, it helps, but it also made me feel numb. I didn't feel depressed, but I also feel like I felt joy the same. And so I was trying to find ways to improve that without necessarily with like pharmaceutical drugs. And so I started working on meditation and started working with like a gratitude journal and affirmations. And I read a book called Girl Wash Your Face and You Are a Badass. And they both, I was like, I am so sad about myself. Like, Girl Wash Your Face. And so I did, and I have affirmations all over my house, in my bathroom, literally on this wall against me, in my kitchen, and whiteboards everywhere. They kind of help me instill the thought of, okay, I have to see the things that I want to see in the going to feel for me to love myself and to try to negate the negative thoughts that would come up that, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I can't wear this, my stomach looks weird in this, and stopping myself every time I have those thoughts that would lower my energy and my happiness levels, and redirecting it with positive thoughts, thoughts of gratitude, and just telling myself, I'm grateful for my stomach looking this way. I was able to carry my twins; they're healthy. Like that's a true blessing. Not everybody's lucky. And also, right before I had my twins, 2 weeks before I had my twins, she wasn't a direct friend of mine, but she was an associate of mine. She had her child, and right after I had mine, her son actually passed. He's only like a few weeks old. And I thought in the back of my head, like, I have to be grateful because I have this mother here, like, that I know of, like, she's grieving for her children. And I'm focused on how much sleep I'm not getting, focused on how my body's changed. Her body's changed too, but she doesn't have, necessarily, quote unquote, something to show for it, And so I had to remind myself, you need to be grateful. There's somebody out there who doesn't get to see their kid. Yep. There's somebody out there who lost their life to a kid. There's someone out there trying so desperately hard with thousands and thousands of dollars trying to conceive and can't. And you're focusing on how your body is flawed now. Right. And so just trying to change my perception of what had occurred and understanding that it's bigger than me. And our purpose isn't supposed to be of a materialistic physical sense. We are supposed to be spiritual beings with higher purposes more than the shallow things that we tend to focus on, and to try to focus more. How can I improve my mind state? How can I become closer to God? How can I be more mindful and present and unconditionally loving, like He tells us we should be, and working on the ways that through God's word, through self-help books, and how I can improve that, because I can't control how my stomach looks like. There's absolutely nothing I can do, but taking control of the things I do have power over, which are my mind and my spirit and my soul and my perceptions and my opinions of myself and others, and most importantly, my truth, and understanding truth is unwavering, regardless. If someone tells me I'm beautiful, that doesn't change how my body looks like. If someone tells me I'm ugly, my body doesn't change. At the end of the day, no matter what anyone tells me, my truth is my truth, and that is something I own. It's something that is not going to be changed because of how someone feels, whether it's positive nor negative. So it was really starting to understand myself more and what it meant to be this new version, or really lost version of myself.
Wow.
I love that.
Jazz, you just hit on something so powerful. You almost explained the cure of depression, which is something that so many people, especially our generation, is facing. Depression definitely is a place, it's a state of mind where you are just in your mind and in your problems, in your sadness, you're just in your mind. And the second that you're able to get out of that mind, and for you, it was seeing a colleague of yours have it much more difficult, for you to be like, I'm out of my mind, and you know what, I just changed my perspective, and you know what, I don't have it that bad. It's just like, that's the magic pill, right? Because we all, you also talked about pharmaceutical, and and we're non-judgmental here for sure, and we definitely promote doing what's best for you throughout your journey. But I think it's so powerful that you shared that you were able to get out of your own head by just changing your perspective. And that was so beautifully said. Jazz, women, we have so many roles. We're a mother, we're a wife, we are a sister, we're so many different things throughout our whole life. But we often find that our roles become our identity, right? How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts about how, as women, do we not become our roles and we hang tight to our true essence?
It's actually really interesting. I know we talked about it previously, but I had this conversation with my husband yesterday, so it's really fresh on my mind. We all, and not just women, we as an entirety, want to put titles upon ourselves because it gives us kind of an illusion of security. We want to say, well, I'm a mother and I'm a business owner and I'm this and that. But like I asked my husband yesterday, if all those things were taken away, if you were no longer this title or that title, who are you outside of those things? And yes, like they do make a piece of the puzzle, but that's not the big picture. And sometimes you get so attached, like, oh, I'm a mother, and you want to be your child, and it's like, well, I'm a mother, but I have no child to show for. Like I'm still a mother, and I don't know like where my identity is. You lose yourself because of this title. And so and for me, I was like, I'm a fitness model, I'm this person, I'm this and that, and I lost my identity because it was something, I put my identity into something that was ever changed, which was my body. And just like with anything in life, it's temporary. Like, even our titles can change drastically. You can be a wife one day and then be an ex-wife the next day, you know? It doesn't mean just because you feel safe in that title that title is permanently yours. And just realizing I have to be someone that I'll still share when nobody likes my post. I'll still want to help people if I don't make money off doing it. I still will love people whether or not they want to love me or not. And I tell people who are negative, I'm like, I'll pray for you because you are feeling pain and I understand that. And just learning that we can have these titles yet still be our own individual about it, because we are infinitely like divine and super crazy beings, and we try to put ourselves in boxes because that's how it makes sense. We want to make sense of everything, but we're not. Like, we're nameless in itself. Like, we are spiritual beings that we can't understand, and we could acknowledge ourselves as that we don't have to have like this direct purpose or have this direct title to feel worthy or feel loved. We can just be us, like in this moment here, and that's it. And like coming to understand that really helped me not attach myself to things that can be wavering or change over time. I actually have a little sticky note next to my mirror that says I am an imperfect perfection.
Love that.
Yeah, I tell myself that every time
You really are all about mantras.
I'm not sure, right? And so, you know, it's just understanding that there's no such thing as perfection, no matter how hard we work, and to be patient with ourselves. You know, there are times I get consumed with, I should be trying to further my career, I should have written a book already, I should be doing this, and I'm like, well, we put these expectations of ourselves, and we absorb the expectations from others as our own. But sometimes just taking the baby steps is important. Just choosing one day, you know what, saying I am beautiful instead of looking at myself with shame or with guilt or with fear of, you know, my husband seeing me. You know, I get these stories of these women who feel like that is to break free from trying to be accepted by everyone, to not think that their validation comes from others' opinions, or validation comes from the mirror, or even in the work that they do. It's just working on being loving. If that's lovingly, you know, reading, if that's working out and being healthy, it's doing it all out of love and not out of, well, I'm working out because I hate myself.
Right.
Or I hide myself because I hate myself. Or even like women that say, oh, you don't perform plastic surgery. Well, if a woman feels like they love themselves but they want to fix it, I support that.
Right.
I don't support women who feel like they hate themselves so much they have to change, because I've heard so many horror stories of women who have had C-sections and gained weight, lost weight, and like that, or their skin wasn't tight enough to begin with, and they got a tummy tuck, and it ended up reversing years later. You know, I'm like, you have to be careful. You know, it's risky, and to understand that love doesn't come from a physical change. Love has to come from within, and just telling myself, like, I'm worthy of my own love. Like, I am deserving of this love. I am enough. Just as I am, I'm enough with who I am, while still understanding we can improve ourselves with tiny little habit changes every day. And just to be patient with it. It's nothing, like, just like a child, you can even, you wait these months months and months and months, and then life happens. It doesn't happen that fast.
Right.
And so to understand that even life takes time, even a tree from a seed takes time to become this blossoming, monster redwood. It doesn't just happen that fast. It's to understand where I want to go is a long-term journey. It's not going to happen overnight. The weight's not going to come off tomorrow. My self-love isn't going to change in a week. My relationships aren't going to improve in a year. Like, things are going to take time, and you have to invest in that time. Understanding. It's baby steps. It's always just small, little, tiny steps that sometimes go backwards and keep pushing forward, and understanding that there's power in those small steps.
Right.
And I think everybody's capable of self-love. I think everybody's capable of success. Everybody's capable of being vulnerable. It's just whether or not we choose to do it,
Jasmin, you have really been so open, not just with us, but in your blog and in your Instagram. What advice would you give our womanhood for somebody who's going through similar challenges right now at this current moment? What is the best piece of advice? And I know you have a lot of it, but try to pick at least one or two that you feel could really help our womanhood out at this time.
I feel like understanding you're enough and that you don't have to live up even your own expectations, that it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to be flawed, and to know that you don't have to fight to be something you are, and just being genuine and coming to your truth, because sometimes it's kind of scary to understand your truth and to accept it, and so to not come at it fearful and to think about yourself in a loving sense. Like, would you talk to your friend, like your girlfriend, and say, "Oh, you look like crap," like, you wouldn't say that to your friend. I hope not. And it's just like speaking to yourself as you would want to be spoken to, and knowing that these pains and this sadness and this depression, like, it's only temporary. And though it seems like it is, because depression has a way of making you feel like that it's forever lasting, to know that you can get through it. And the fact that you wake up, and the fact that you make it to the end of the day, that means you thrive and survive, and you get it through. And don't be down on yourself when you didn't do the laundry, you didn't do this or that. You made it through the day, and just to recognize that, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful I woke up, because thousands of people died today, and I did to live and love and choose better for myself. And so that would be something I would feel like would be just a gem for every woman to understand, that it's okay.
Love that. It's so beautifully said. Jasmin, you're an inspiration to all of us, to our entire womanhood, to the world. We are so excited we got to talk to you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jazz.
You guys are amazing, and I just wish you guys the most abundance and success that the world can bring.
Oh, thank you so much.
That really means a lot.
That means a lot to us. But we'll definitely see you in Austin. We can't wait to see you.
Bye, Jazz.
If you want to learn more about Jasmin and her story and some of her tips and tricks in her blog, please visit marriedmomandmantras.com, and don't forget to follow her on Instagram.
Keep for tuning in to the Mini Talks. We are every Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, IGTV, as well as wearemillennialwomen.com. While you're there, don't forget to leave us a comment.
Till next time, MW,
Always love,
Melissa,
and Stephanie Carcache.